Hello my amazing viewers, it's me, CT, on your screen talking to you about my hydrocephalus story. Wow, that was a little lame. But today's video is brought to you by Friends, the TV show. Not really, I'm not sponsored or anything, but who doesn't love Friends? Yes, I just did that. But I am here to basically talk to you about my hydrocephalus story. I have had questions from friends and followers on my social media who have seen what I have gone through the past few years. I lost the ability to walk. I lost the ability to eat. I ended up losing 50 or more pounds and I became very malnourished. I lost the ability to drive. My memory went kaput. I did not know who I was really. I did not know how I got places. And not to mention, hydrocephalus almost cost me my life last year in 2019. But hey, I am here now and I am ready to spread awareness for these disorders because in all honesty, no one really knows what they are. When I got diagnosed, I didn't know what hydrocephalus was. So I'm here now and it's time to spread the word. So let's dive right in. I have 3 neurological disorders, the main one being hydrocephalus. Hydrocephalus is water on the brain. It is an accumulation of cerebrospinal fluid. It increases the pressure within my skull. There are a few different types of hydrocephalus. Mine is obstructive or non-communicating hydrocephalus, which basically means that there are blockages that prevent the flow of cerebrospinal fluid to get through my ventricles. There is no cure. The only treatment we hydro warriors have is through a medical device known as a shunt that is implanted into our brain that pumps out that extra fluid into our stomach. I have a, say it with me now, ventriculoperitoneal shunt. The first shunt was implanted on the right side. It is now on my left side. And what it is it's the device that pumps that cerebrospinal fluid down into my stomach. It's right here. And the tube goes all the way down and up. Look, you can see it. And yes, it does disgust some people. And I'm sorry for that. But, you know, I cannot live without this thing. Looks like a vein just popping out. Like, don't get me mad, man. My vein's going to pop out. But really, it's just my tube. So I was diagnosed on Friday the 13th of 2012. Most people are born with this disorder. I was not. My hydrocephalus was brought on by a traumatic brain injury from an assault to my head. I will go into more detail about that in a later video, but I will say the assault happened on June 14th, 2011. I found out I had hydrocephalus on April 13th, 2012. That gap was a time period of escalating pain within my head. Now, I will go ahead and say that I did not tell anyone about my assault due to safety concerns until 2015 when I had my second brain surgery. Why? I will explain all of that in my assault story video, which will come later on. Over time, I would get headaches. And I was actually pregnant during this time. I was pregnant during the assault. I was 8 weeks pregnant to be exact. And in all honesty, I'm surprised Noah is here. He is my miracle baby. After what happened, I'm surprised I did not miscarry. I always had it in the back of my mind that these headaches and migraines were probably from that assault. But I just didn't want to say anything. I didn't realize that it was escalating and becoming something worse until I went to my OBGYN after my son was born. I remember losing feeling in my hands, my legs, and my feet. I would wear sunglasses inside and while I watched TV. With waking up every 2 hours, there was one time I went to get Noah a bottle and I fell because I couldn't feel my legs. There was one morning where my mom was yelling at me and she wasn't doing it to be like mean or because she was mad. It's because I would not wake up. And that's when we knew something wasn't right. With everything that was just piling up, we knew something wasn't right. So we went to my OBGYN, and I will say she did know about the abuse and the assault. It was in my record. And with HIPAA, I knew that she could not tell anyone unless I said so. So I did tell her what happened, and since she knew it was an assault to the head, she sent me off for a CT scan. About 4 hours later, I received the call, and she told me that I had to be admitted for an emergency brain surgery because I had hydrocephalus. I remember after receiving that call, I hung up. I had no idea what hydrocephalus was, but the fact that she said I had to have brain surgery, I ran to the room and I cried. Surgery is one thing, it's scary. But hearing brain surgery, I didn't know really what to think. Like, it's a very major surgery, and I was scared. I was terrified. I'm so thankful for my mom during that time because she took over caring for Noah while I was going through all this. It was a difficult time. When I got to the hospital, they ran more MRIs, blood work, just other tests before I had that emergency brain surgery. My neurosurgeon at the time and his physician assistant came in and actually explained to us that the MRI showed that there was a second neurological disorder known as Chiari malformation, which basically is where your brain tissue is extending into your spinal canal. I will be doing a video later on showing my MRI scans of hydrocephalus and the Chiari and comparing them to normal brains. So make sure you stay tuned for that because it's interesting. The neurosurgeon told me about the procedure and what was going to happen and how it should be afterwards. And he actually told me that I did not have to go forward with having this surgery. But if I did not, I would have only had maybe a couple of days to live because my hydrocephalus damaged that much of my brain. It was that critical. And while he was telling me all this, you know, I had my 3-month-old son looking at me, and I was like, of course I'm going to have this surgery because I have someone that depends on me. And also the pain was so unbearable at the time with the migraines and just, you know, the tingling sensations, not being able to feel anything. I ended up having the brain surgery, and you know, it went well. It wasn't really a difficult recovery. I was on bed rest for I think 1 or 2 weeks, and like I said, I'm thankful for my mom at that time because she took care of me, my brothers, and my son. Like, she is Wonder Woman to me. Like, she is my superhero, super mom. They ended up drilling a hole into my head, and it was on the right side at this time. And you know, everything was great. Everything was peachy keen jelly bean until around 2015. I ended up having to have a second brain surgery on September 24th, 2015 because of my shunt malfunctioning. It was overdraining and made my ventricles slit-like. Basically, that means the ventricles could not be seen on a CT scan, and I was at high risk of stroke and seizures. I did not go to the same neurosurgeon for this second brain surgery, and I will be honest, I was a little nervous because with my first original neurosurgeon, I trusted him because of his credentials, and you know, he did my first brain surgery and he knew my story. So I was nervous to go to this next neurosurgeon, but I ended up getting the surgery and I was fine until around 2017. But that will be in a part 2 of this story because that is when this hydrocephalus story gets a whole lot interesting. I discuss, you know, me declining in health, losing the ability to walk, eat, drive, losing 50 pounds, becoming malnourished. I get shaved bald. I almost died. So I'm putting all of that into a part 2 of this hydrocephalus. So look out for that second video, because it will be here in probably a couple of days. So hit that like and subscribe button so you can get that notification when it does come out. Until then, I will see you lovely viewers next time. Bye!